Okay. Wow. Okay. So I am live. It's been a gosh darn second since I've done anything for content. But today we have a SanKeys R420 Replay Controller, which I'm going to be walking through here. Just give me a second while I'm opening up some notes I left myself. So we're going completely from scratch here. First things first, this unit was sent to me for free. I was not paid. I was not given any other compensation. I was just sent the unit, and the stipulation I was given was try this out and make a video, share your thoughts. Now, I've had a lot going on in my life the last couple months since I got sent it, and I'm overdue to make it to my own standards, I should say. They didn't give me a deadline, and they also put no restrictions on what I say about this product, just that I use it, make a video, share my thoughts. And so I thought, I just got to start. So all I've done right now from scratch is we're just we're starting here. We're plugging it in. Okay, we are starting from zero. So it is plugged in, and I have opened up my vMix Replay op config, which, if you're not aware, you can just go grab on furtive.gumroad.com. All of these are free. Here's the starter template. I literally just went here. I grabbed the Dodgeball edition, put 0 in to grab it for free. Voila. Oh boy. Voila. Maybe it thinks I'm a bot. Are you kidding me? That's a new one. Hey, where's the farm equipment? Okay. But yeah, you can grab it for free. And it comes with these files. So all I did was I downloaded my own vMix zip. That's a vMix project template with some assets included and zipped up. And this will probably come into play later, but my companion config in it too. But the vMix template I opened up, that's what we have here right now. We have this guy plugged in. And we are not going to put that over there. Goodness. And all we are going to do is just figure out how to make this guy work. Now, step one is usually you want to plug this kind of a thing in before you open it, which I've done. So we're going to go here. We're going to add a instant replay, low quality. Yep. I have this all configured already. Yeah. Awesome. And I guess we don't even have to start recording to see if this is working. If you open up the replay controller, just sort of unpin that real quick. It's happening underneath the camera. I'd say step one is like, okay, so we have, let's say, A, B buttons. So if we just try switching channel control, okay, so not plugged in or not connected. I'm guessing that there is a yeah, this is my guess here. Like, is there a template I need to download? So if we go like SanKeys R420 Replay Controller vMix template or something. So their product page comes up immediately. Awesome. I'll screen that for ease. Specification. Okay, so oh, they have a download page. All right, let's go download then. vMix shortcut template. Okay, yeah, that sounds like exactly what I need. So we're gonna check that out. Also, let me make sure I get my chat open up in here. Probably should have done that earlier. Just zip that across the screen to another monitor. All right. And yeah, I guess I should share this real quick. One moment. Give me a second to call my followers. Not exactly, let's see. I'm just writing a little, hey, come check this out thing real quick. Tick, 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 tick. Let's see. Sharing in a couple of places. I am streaming. Not now. Refrain, please. I gotta take care of something. Tools and tech discussion. It's a replay controller with Linux. Okay, we're gonna call that good for now. Compact this over there. And do I have a delay set on here? Or like, what's going on with that guy? Oh no, okay, I got it, going, great. Fan effing tastic. This is exactly what I was hoping. Okay. Now that I've shared a link so perhaps more people can look at this, we're going to dive in. So looks like we need a shortcut zip for the R420. I think I'm on the latest vMix. Yeah, 29047. So if they said this is for 29, we're gonna grab that. Yeah, toss it all in there. Hell yeah. Okay, and then I'm assuming, let me check that out real quick. I don't know if I actually need to unzip that. I do, I absolutely need to unzip that. One moment. Yeah, yeah. Heck yeah, awesome. All right, we have a vMix shortcut template and we have activators. For anyone not in the know, shortcut template is mapping like, hey, this button, this input will do this shortcut, and then activators are like what will send feedback to activate, like a tally on this, or possibly this seems to just work independently of whatnot, but maybe like information used to inform the state of buttons and faders and whatnot on this controller. So to use those, we go to vMix settings, shortcuts, templates, and then import. Oh my god, downloads the SanKeys R420 shortcut template. Open that up. And let's just say apply then. Yeah. I have some other things that are loaded in here, but those should not interfere. And now that we've done that, and we might as well do the activators. And you know what? Maybe it even walks us through us here. Let's see how to install. Yeah, you know what? Let's be good kids and read. Yeah. Shortcut activators. So we downloaded, yes. We went to settings. We went to the shortcuts. We went to templates. We did this. We imported, yes. We applied, yes. Okay, so far we are all Gucci. Oh, hang on. Also, what is the font in there? vMix. That's so fascinating. Like kind of want that. Okay. Anyways, MIDI settings. Let's keep following along. We were in shortcuts. They want us to go to MIDI settings. And they want us to enable that MIDI device. I don't see it listed. One moment. I'm going to stick that guy back. And oh no, I have to close this first. Okay. I need to probably just collapse that guy real quick. I didn't see it listed, so we're going to just restart vMix real quick. We'll save this zip. Yeah, why not? That's fine. I made another copy of it, you know. Discard it, and we're just going to open it back up. Open the last thing I had. Go back to settings. Go to shortcuts, MIDI settings. There it is. Okay. Now, like it said in the guide we were following, we're going to enable that and hit OK. So we're going to enable that and hit OK. Can we change sport, please? Very funny. And we hit OK. I'm just going to hit OK again for now. Now we're going to go to activators. I guess I could probably zoom in a bit on this page. Right, so that is the shortcut template applied. Now we're going to activators. I'm assuming we're going to import again, but let's make sure. Yes, we're going to import and import the vMix activators and hit yes to that. And then we're going to do enable devices just like we did on the shortcut side. So import, back to downloads, the SanKeys R420 and the vMix activators template. We hit yes on that. And then we go to enable devices and we click enable on the R420, hit OK, hit OK. Now, that should be everything. Okay. Great. With that out of the way, let us test. I'm going to unpin this again so you can see it. Let's try this again. I go to A and B, I hit A. We've taken control of channel A, and we have feedback on A. Hit B, same for that. Now I wonder if that activator will apply now if I hit A on my side. It does. Awesome. That all seems to be working as intended. How a real sport. Hey, dodgeball is a gem of competitive sports in an international community. You think basketball and tennis are entertaining? They have one ball in play. Just one. How about 6? You can't even put that on one hand. You got to have 2 hands for that. 6 balls at one time. Keep track of that with your camera coverage. So that's great. Okay, so with all that in place, I should be able now to just like go ahead and try this out. See what they have built, see how I like it, and give more of an actual review of what we're looking at. So we open up the replay controller. We're just going to start from 0 here. I'm going to take control of all channels, and I'm going to manually go to live and hit play. Okay, here we go. This is the meat and potatoes, I would say. First off, quality of the controller. I have a couple other controllers I've tried out, and this one does feel a lot better so far. For example, the jog wheel is like heavy, you know what I mean? It's got weight to it. So that like when I, I'm like, and let go of it, I'm not worried that it's gonna jiggle a bit and apply like a, oops, you jogged back a little bit there. Oops, you jogged forward. Oop. It's also got that ability to just like let it rip, you know? Also, if my camera shakes, sorry, I kind of just have this guy like up on a C-stand, and it's looking down over my desk, but it's attached to the desk, so obviously if I like bop the controller, it's gonna go blah, blah, blah. Is it smooth or is there steps or clicks? It's smooth. It's pretty granular here, which I like. Like you could definitely frame jog. And now I'm looking up at my screen to be like, if I want to see this throw, like I want to back it up perfectly to like him releasing it. That feels pretty easy to do. The guy that's like up in the left of your screen right now. Here he goes up to the line and he's letting go of a ball. So like maybe I back that up to here, ready to roll the replay. And this is like test number 1. Does this roll with a T-bar? Is that a behavior that they configured or no? No, it looks like it is applying a playback speed, but not actually rolling replay. That is more of like a, I'm not putting that on the manufacturer SanKeys exactly, because that's more like vMix separates the two concepts, which is crazy to me. They separate the concept of like T-bar versus play pause state. So like me rolling this right now is not playing in vMix because that is a separate concept to vMix. One of those things where it's like, I kind of get why people like go pick up a 3-play in a lot of contexts, because this is one of those fundamental like, why? Like I can solve this problem, but like why do I have to, why is it a problem I need to solve? Anyways, I will say T-bar also feeling pretty nice, like sturdy, not worried about it jiggling or something when I let go of it, but it's not that hard to actuate and like stop it, you know. Also love this feedback. This seems to be gauging up and down. So I can see like this is at 25. It's gonna look a little funny from the camera angle. Now that I realize that, like my perspective, I'm seeing it pretty clearly as like, this just got 50. Now we're up to like 75. And if I look now in vMix and I see like, oh yeah, that's 75 almost on the dot, and then up to 100. How is the weight, the whole unit? Pretty nice. This is what, like 5 pounds? I'm gonna have to look it up, but it's not light. It's definitely heavier than that that other controller I was using earlier in the year. So in terms of build quality, I'd say this is the best vMix replay controller I've used. Button wise, nice and clicky clacky. I'm tapping this to make sure it doesn't like, you know, you have to actually press it, but you press it, it's done. Like, that's nice. Yeah, love the buttons. There's no, does it feel steady and weighty? Heck yeah, it does. You're not a fan of the glow in the T-bar. Well, you could just, honestly, if you don't like this, just board tape. Just one strip of board tape. There's nothing in the vicinity that's gonna get messed up if you do that. But yeah, I could understand a cosmetic opinion on that. What is spilling? Spilling? Also, let's go through some simple uses. So obviously it looks like I'm gonna have to get to this part later of like part 1 of this review. I think for me is just like just try out what it is, right? Try out what they configured, and you know, later I can try to map this to be the way I exactly like to work. So for now, okay, so they didn't you know, include shortcuts for T-bar changes to play or pause when you go to 0. Well, 0 is going to pause anyways. But that's another thing I'm curious about. If I hit, they're at 0. Let's put it back at 100. If I hit play here, if I jog back, does jogging pause? Looks like yes. Okay, so they did this part. You know, jogging should pause playback when you are jogging. And that happens because otherwise, if you're trying to get to the right spot to start a replay and it just started playing right when you got there, that wouldn't be very useful. But on the other side, it seems like you can't roll the replay to, you know, roll the thing that you set up with the jog wheel. I'll let that be. So let's play along. Let's go somewhere. Oh wow, that guy's not sure if it hit his foot or not. All right, that seems like a great thing to replay. Here comes a guy to throw. I guess in this case, I'll like start the T-bar for like a nice and slow, let's say 33% replay. And I guess I'm gonna hit the play button, which I like. This is more EVS style layout for like T-bar, jog wheel, and then you have your in-out marks and your play buttons. That's good. I love that design. That transfers really easily for me, muscle memory wise. So in this case, since my T-bar is not going to be able to roll the replay and the config as is, I'm going to set a speed. I've jogged back to my start point. And I'm going to hit play, and that should just, yeah, here we got 33% playing the play. Ooh, looks like a hit to me. Looks like I hit him on the foot. But hey, maybe we want a second angle of that. I guess in that case, I would let's take control of B here. Looks like cam 2 doesn't really have a good angle of it, so I'll stick on cam 3. So we'll start with A, line up at the right spot. And I guess for B, I'm going to push ahead a little bit to that alternate angle, just so it's ready to go. So here's A, rolling. I could still, like, at least I can speed ramp this down on the play that's going on now. B, I'm gonna have to start up, hit B, boom. So I guess we just work in, like, you're hitting play. It's not the worst thing in the world. But not my favorite. I would rather not have to hit a play button, but that's, again, I'm not going to say that's a manufacturer issue. That's more of vMix being vMix forcing people to be opinionated about whether or not you're going to build a solution to have a fader on your MIDI controller send a play command every single time it changes value, or if you're not going to do that and just let the fader map to sending the value for the playback speed, and then let the user hit the play button to actually start the replay. In terms of feel, love that so far. Ooh, here's a nice. Ooh. Can't configure it to be like that. You can. What I'm saying is, like, I'm just going to take the shortcut template and activators template they included with this and, like, play with that and see how it all works. And then later, I can get nitty gritty with it, whether that's in central control or someone made like a MIDI translation layer for companion I might try out. And never ran into that issue. You never ran into the issue of trying to roll a replay, let's say here on A, cam 3 here, you guys are gonna get cross-corded. And now I just want to take my T-bar, be like, ready in red or ready on alpha, and rolling. Oop, it's not playing. Like, that's a pretty, you know, whether it's EVS, Dreamcatcher, 3Play, like, okay, 3Play doesn't get to talk crap about this because 3Play makes you, like, engage the T-bar on the controller to match the output channel before you can roll it, before it does anything. I'm not going to get into rant about that, but point being, like, most other replay hardware controllers, you're rolling. Like, you're doing an instant replay, you're in sports, you got to back something up real quick. You're hunting, you're checking all your cameras. Oh, like, oh, there's the angle. Yeah, I want this angle. Okay, here's a good spot to start. Ready. And then you're going to go rolling. And then you can just ramp down. Because otherwise, you got to use your other hand for it. There's two arguments to be made there. One is, like, this is the standard process that people are used to for muscle memory. There is a bit of a fallacy there for like leaning on tradition, but it also makes sense. Like it's just more efficient than having to manage a play pause state in addition to a playback speed. Because like, yes, can it be annoying to be like, I don't want it to be like playing every single time I'm adjusting a speed to get ready for this replay, but that's what the jog wheel's for. It's in your other hand. You can just tick, pause, tick, pause, tick, pause. How does 33% feel? Okay, back it up a bit. How does 50% feel? I'll go back to like 40. We'll split the difference, kind of a thing. All right. Honestly, I'm pretty easy to work with in terms of the jog wheel and T-bar as far as the feel, ignoring my play button gripe. Like, I like it. I like the feel of it. I'm gonna shake the desk on accident because this thing does have weight. We've talked about that. And then let's go into clipping, I suppose. So we're gonna go in. We're gonna play. Can I update the in? We'll get there later. We'll test all the bells and whistles. All right, that was a throw attempt. We're gonna mark out. Let's just keep going forward. Looks like something happened on another camera. So like maybe the counter shot here. That's good. Counter from the right onto the left. So I'm gonna mark in on this camera angle. Jog forward. Ooh, nice tag. Dang, got him out. Okay, out. I'm navigating here. Can go up on the event list, down. Simple enough. There's a play all button. That's of interest to me. Let's say these were the 2 plays of the match. In that case, maybe I want to update the endpoint. I don't know if that's possible on here, but let's try it out. I'm just gonna try my muscle memory and see what happens. So typically, if you want to update the endpoint on an event, here we have it as selected. Let's say I want a little more headroom on that. I backed it up a bit. It's a 1.5 seconds before my previous endpoint. Typically, you would have a shift in. So let's just try that out. Shift in. Awesome. Yeah, sure looks to me like shift in updated the endpoint. Now the endpoint, as you can see, is matching the current playhead. And if I back it up another second here, which you can see in the upper left, backed it up to 1 second before that in, shift in. Interesting. I wonder if I missed a punch there, or let's go forward. Mark out. I guess there's only one way to find out. Let's go down again to that previous event we had. I'm gonna hit delete. Is there a delete on this one? Nar. Okay, we'll get to that later. I'll just delete it in the UI. Delete my extra I made on accident. Let's go select that clip I had. Back it up another second and some change. Shift in. I'm gonna be very deliberate. Make sure I'm not double tapping. So shift in. Okay, looks like I must have double tapped in on accident or something when I was doing that. Cool. So now I have 2 clips. Let's just go ahead and play this as a package. I'm gonna go play all. That should, in my mind, select everything in my event list here and play events. I'm curious, however, if that is going to do the equivalent of hitting the play events, or if it's going to do the play to output command, which was not something I want right now. So I'm gonna minimize this. If it's what I'm hoping it is, nothing will change here in preview program. I'm just gonna go ahead and hit play all. And it looks like it is play to output. So it's okay. Yeah, not my favorite thing. Not my favorite thing for them to do. Not respecting my choice here that I have explicitly, because there's some funky behaviors involved with it, when you are in your events here, there's this play events automatically transitions to output, aka if you have just like play events, like it will send replay A or B, I guess if you're controlling B, to your program, which is not necessarily something you want to happen in a lot of contexts. And then also coming out of it transition wise, it funks up, especially if this is like the dedicated, like a dedicated replay box. Like you don't want things to be shifting in and out of your program. You just want things to go to their set places. So, okay. Again, that's maybe a thing to blame vMix for more than like a controller manufacturer, because that's kind of arcane. And it's like the default behavior is what this is triggering. So I'm not holding that against the manufacturer. That's just another thing that's like, I'm going to want to change this for my control workflow as we go through it. But, you know, at least does what it says on the label. It does select both events and it does play them. So here's the first event. Here's the second event. The big reason that, maybe the biggest reason, even if you are on a, let's say like a combined TD replay box and like you want someone to be able to punch some quick replays, you typically want to still be able to post roll this. Like I have it set up so that if I'm doing this, let's say I just, oh gosh darn it, that's gonna unsync it. Oh, replay A is on the preview here. It's because of that. Typically what I want to be doing here is I have this set up ready to fire and I'll hit play events. And that's so that at the end of this package in 3, 2, 1. Oh no. Oh no, wait, did they change something with that? Love this. Might have. That's fine. Typically you have post roll on in this way with that continue playback so that you give your TD or whoever just more time to get through that, right? You want them to get through, like, here we go. We have, you know, just endlessly running. A little more grace period for them to get off you or staying back to live, or maybe they like want to keep seeing more. Sometimes you have something you're like, you're going to give them an out and they're like, actually, I want to ride this. I want to keep going with this. So like, don't automatically cut out of this. Don't automatically pause this and make me like hard dump out. Like, just let me keep going with this. Maybe the talent were like, oh, wow. Like, and they want to keep talking about it without cutting away. So this is my opinionated take, but generally speaking, you do not want to use play X to output, play selected events to output, play all events to output. You want to just play all, and you want to like respect whatever is set up in the project for that reason. So not a huge thing, but that's there's going to be a lot of these like in combination. Like these are the sorts of things where like you want operators to feel comfortable and at their fastest, and already there's some good points in favor of that from the build quality, which is something you can't correct when it comes to the operator mapping things to their liking. And in that regard, hell yeah, loving this. And for them giving you a base plate, boilerplate config to work off of, like, this is definitely doing the job. I have visual feedback of what's going on. I have the ability to quickly jump around cameras, jog forward and backwards, mark ins and outs, and set a playback speed. The other thing perhaps that I would like to know, which based on everything else we've seen so far, I'm not feeling super hopeful about, but like if I hit live, is it going to go to live and play? Like just take me to live moment. I could hit live and then like go, I don't know, ask a question on comms or something, and then be like, ooh, something just happened, jog back and mark it in. No, it's probably going to just like move the playhead to live. So if I'm like jogging around being like, I don't know. Never mind. Whatever I was looking for back here, it's not happening. Let's go back to live so we're ready to pick up the next replay. Okay, that's gotcha. Okay, live is just toggling live mode in the replay controller. Now must be the button I'm thinking of. So let's do that. We're go now. And yeah, it looks like now the E to E equivalent on this controller is taking us. I should move this real quick for a moment while we do this. Looks like, yeah, as you can see at the bottom right, I hit now. I'm just going to toggle the controller off for a second. If I hit now, it is jumping the playhead to live. It is not playing at the same time. So another one of those like two-steppers that we're talking about, like with the T-bar and hitting the play button. In this case, like you're going to want to hit now to jump the playhead to live and hit the play button at the same time. If I do that, I'm going to move this guy here. That seems like a better place for it. So in my case, I'm going to hit now and hit play, and that should allow me to jump the playhead to live and play forward as if we are following along with the action on our live monitors. Like there, guy just got hit, so now play. Now play. All right, not the cleanest. And I understand that one a lot because like they probably even tested this, but it's super hard to get the timing on it for macros, which is more of a vMix problem than the SanKeys problem. But I got a long list of those, so we're here to talk about the controller. Cam 3 looks like a great angle of this, so maybe we'll swap those. Is there a swap button? I don't think I see a swap button right now. That's fine. That might be one thing I would say is like a good thing to have, whether it's EVS, drink, anything with 2 replay channels. You typically want to have something to take the content from each one and swap it into the other, which I don't know if they've accounted for on this particular controller. On EVS and Dreamcatcher, I think you will find that button typically here at the bottom. Take is what it's called on EVS. So if you want to like take B into A or A into B, in the UI for vMix, you have this with this button here, which will give me help text swap cameras between A and B. So right now, if I'm like, actually, I want my primary to be from over the back of the team throwing, I can swap that one into A. And the secondary angle now is the one that I put into B. But if I want to be like, give me like a fat clip of this leading into the play. And while that is cooking up and rolling, I'm going to take B and like do a tighter angle here of like, boom, right? So set that up quickly without having to be like, ooh, what is that in A? Oh, A had 2 or A had 3 and B had 2. Like, you don't have to think through that math. You just like hit one button to swap them. Again, little things. But as you can see, like I've used this thing for like 10 minutes and was already able to just like make up a real example of like, here's a 2-looker, here's how I'd set it up, here's how you do it on the controller. And like, I felt pretty comfortable just doing that. It wasn't like, yeah, adding the play button into my brain isn't my favorite, but like even with that, like it was really comfortable to just 2-angle this replay of a play real quick. And same thing, let's go like now and play. Oh, hang on. See, that's another thing. when you separate those two concepts, like in my brain, play, like it is on EVS, and I'm gonna go again now, play. Okay, we're back on live. In my brain, like when you hit play on EVS, like that is full speed. If you roll with the T-bar on EVS, that is playing at the speed of the T-bar. So that's how I like to set my things up. These are muscle memories that you're gonna find most replay operators have. In this case, those things in vMix replay are decoupled. So in my brain, like you might have just saw, like I jumped to the live moment, or I jumped to now on the timeline and hit play, but my playback speed was set to like 33 or whatever still. So when I did that, it moved the playhead, and then I hit play, and it was playing at 33% speed from the playhead. Not the ideal. But again, that's a vMix replay thing, not the controller. But I'm pointing this out as like, if you're designing controls for vMix replay, these are the sorts of things you want to be aware of in terms of operator behavior and the things that are gotchas in vMix replay, so that you can be that like translation layer with the controller to be like, no, we got you. Like, yes, there's this bump in like the UX or the ergonomics of like operating in vMix replay, and we'll smooth that out for you with our template. Like, you can't you have to go like whole hog on it though, because like if you're gonna make the play button be 100% speed, then the T-bar needs to be the thing that lets you adjust speed and hit play at the same time conceptually, because if you only do one of those two things, you're gonna create more problems. And maybe that's what they ran into, is like, we don't understand what vMix replay is doing, so we're just gonna like follow the expected behaviors of vMix replay and map that to the controller. Or we're gonna take like the vMix shortcut reference, and we're going to identify what each of these buttons in the UI does and map that with shortcuts onto the controller. And in that regard, they've done a great job. These things that I'm pointing out are more like, when you know vMix replay and you know EVS, like how do you make that transition between the two conceptually easier? Which I'm not saying is like EVS is always right, because they're not. But things that EVS does that make sense to do should probably be emulated when you're controlling vMix replay. And one of those, of course, is if you're jumping to now, like you probably want to jump to now and play along with whatever is live, so that you don't have to two button that or get out of step with what is happening live by a second or more. What else? Looks like we have a section of the controller that's dedicated to like clip management. So I will get to that, but I think first I want to cover like these buttons here, which appear to be the clip from live buttons, or like these are the things that like vMix replay really excels at compared to EVS. Because in EVS, if it's like, hey, something cool just happened, like you have to get on the right camera and then get to the right position on the timeline to clip it. But in vMix replay, they got shortcut buttons that are just like clip the last 5, clip the last 10, clip the last 20, which it looks like they copied the values that were in the UI. Can't blame them for that again. Who is going to make a clip of the last 20 seconds of something that happened? I'm sure there's use cases. It's not a thing that I've personally run into. But again, this is an opinion that vMix laid out, and the controller in this case is just emulating that. So let's test it out. I'm going to take control of both channels, and I'm going to be, let's say, off back in time somewhere editing something. Looks like something just happened on cam 2 that was awesome. So I'm going to go 2, jump to now. This guy on the left here like tried to do a sick jump and got hit. So ideally what I want to do now in a second is like, we're going to watch our live monitors for the start of this next game, and we're going to try to just hit the -5 or something. Be like, cam 1, last 5 seconds, give me a clip. Or cam 2, last 10 seconds, give me a clip. I think that is going to be dependent on the state of the live button, the way their controller's set up. Because if you're not aware, in vMix, if you have the live button toggled on, this tooltip does actually tell you what's going on. You have the live button turned on, it's telling you that like this button being on live means that like marking an in will mark in the live moment. So you can see right now that like there's a, here's how you can know. In the bottom left, you have the live time code 14, 19, 14. This is taking up, but on the timeline, we're currently at 14:17 something. So if I hit in right now with the live button toggled on, if I mark in, you can see rather tinily in the corner here that 14:19 was the endpoint, not 14:17 where we are in the timeline. EVS, I guess, technically has this sort of a function where you can like drop a mark on the live moment that's independent of where your playhead is on your records. But generally speaking, like pretty much any replay operator use case is going to be like you are marking in where you are in the timeline. And in order to do that, I'm just going to finish off that clip I had right now. But in order to do that, typically in vMix Replay, you have to go uncheck live. So now you're not in live mode. And now if I mark in, it's going to mark it on the timeline where I am, which is 14:70:41. Correct. And then I can go forward and mark out also where I am on the timeline. So the question I have here is whether 5, 10, and 20, like the mark last 5, last 10, last 20 buttons are going to be like the vMix Replay UI and force you to toggle this to an explicit state to live mode in order to clip the last 5 from live versus if you are somewhere in the past on the timeline right now and I hit the -5 button in the UI, it marks last 5 from where I am on the playhead, which is not really a thing that you tend to do in operating either. But if I do this on the controller now, let's say it, because like I'm editing here in the past, I'm in the past, and something is about to happen on the live, like, ooh, there's a good shot off of camera 1. If I take camera 1 and hit -5, oh, all right, yeah, great. So this is a big point in favor. They've got this concept in there. Even though I am not on live mode, the clip buttons of -5, -10, -20 are explicitly for clipping from live. So they are using the shortcuts that ignore the state of the live button, and they explicitly clip the last 5 seconds from live. So awesome, because when you're operating and you're in the past and you're looking around at other stuff and you're not here in the present and something cool happens in the present, all that you should have to do is just hit the -5 and be like, something just happened right now from live. Give me the last 5 seconds, and it does. So awesome. Love that. Hey, is it SAPG? SAPGE_. What's up? Welcome to the exploration of the R420 and its included config in vMix Replay. Again, if it wasn't evident, I was given no restriction on what I say, just that I do make a video and share what I think about it as I go. I've got some nice things to say about it. I've got some critiques about it as well. But hey, this is a nice thing for me to say about it, is that they understood what like operators use these -5, -10, -20 for. These are for clipping from live. Like people are not hanging around in the past and being like, yeah, this is about where I want to be, and then hitting -5 to make a clip of these last 5 seconds on the records from the point in the past. Like, people don't really use it for that. They just use it as a like a really quick, hey, something just happened, I need a clip of it. Boom, there's the last 5 seconds from the present moment in real time. The other couple of things that I want to be doing here, so these are all like we've kind of covered like the instant replay use cases, but the other thing is like package editing. So let's control. I wonder if I can like use these buttons to navigate my folders within the Mix Replay Controller. Yeah, it looks like I can. So here I am going from tab 1 to tab 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Obviously, oops, that's not how that works. There's only room for 8 in total. There's not much you can do about that when there's 20 folders, and well, you're not going to put that many buttons in here for that purpose. But they've got at least 8. So it looks like I can get from to 5, 6, 7, 8 with the shift button. So 5. It looks like shift is a toggle that will not unstick until you explicitly untoggle. I'm also curious, it looks like the activators, like the feedbacks, are disabling on the cameras when I shift, so I'm wondering if there's like some other behavior for these buttons that occurs when you hit shift up to them, but we'll get to that later. I want to know more about the clip management button workflows right now. Yeah, it looks like shift is a toggle, so I can leave it latched and go like shift to go to 5, 6, 7, and 8. Are there any other shiftable buttons on here? Doesn't look like it, but you never know. I have to explore that later, but let's just go to like bank 2 or page 2 or folder 2. And let's make a couple of clips because I want to know. Here's a missed throw on camera 2 there, so I'm gonna go to 2. Mark in, mark out. Ooh, nice dodge on the backside of it though. Nice, okay. Mark in, mark out. We'll keep going forward. Let's put some of their cameras in here. Looks like 2 and 3 are kind of our more intimate shots of the action. I just want to get like one more play in here so we have some material to work with for a quote package. Ooh. Wonder if 1 maybe had a better angle of that. Ooh, yeah, that nailed them on 1. Okay, let's take 1 and we'll show his throw followed by the counter throw. And that's a hit. Okay. In and out, in and out. So these buttons up here, looks like we can go up and down, straightforward. I'm assuming these are for package playback. So if I were to, in this case, play all, that first clip is 3 seconds long, but maybe I hit play all and I'm like, I want to skip it. So I'm sure I can skip to the next one if I hit play all and then skip. So play all. And actually, I want to skip to the next one. Yep, cool. Now what happens if I hit previous? It'll let me play the previous. I accidentally hit skip when I was on the last one, which will kill the end of the package. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. The other thing I'm going to commonly want to do here is adjust the speed of a clip. I see there is a button intended for speed. Let's figure out how that works. I'm going to select the first clip. Let's say I want this to be in package playback at, I don't know, 50% speed. So if I hit speed, what happens? It has latched. So I'm assuming I'm going to use, in this case, perhaps the T-bar to set a value. So I'll take the T-bar and this does not seem to be assigning a speed to the clip. So perhaps it's not the T-bar. Interesting. I don't actually know what the speed button is doing in that case. Maybe the jog wheel? Nope, jog. Okay, I think I see what's going on here. Okay, speed is not for assigning a clip speed. It looks like speed is for like a fast jog equivalent. So right now, if I take this and I move at a constant speed, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm moving at about a second per second on the wheel right now. You see this? Look at the very bottom center, 29, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if I hit speed and I move at about that same speed, you see that like I'm moving about the same speed on the controller, but we are flying through the timeline compared to that. I don't know if this is like 8x or 20x. If I start from the top here, make a full rotation, looks like it went about 20 seconds. So I guess that would be, I don't know what the relative like FF value is there, but looked about 20 seconds per revolution. So if you want to go forward or back minutes, like that's how you'd be like, you know what I mean? That's how you really traverse the timeline in that case. And then unlatch it when you want to get finer frame perfect precision. Okay, so speed is fast jog. I don't know if there is going to be a like speed assignment for package editing. That's okay. Would have been a nice to have, but generally speaking, when it comes to MIDI controllers, I tend to think of MIDI controllers as your instant replay tool for vMix Replay. And if you want to do heavier package editing and play out sorts of things, then you get Stream Decks and Companion. You know, that's just sort of the way it's gone for me, at least. So at least there are these basic controls for navigating up and down your clip list, and for, looks like I can copy clips if I wanted to say, take the current one and copy it to 3. Do I have to unlatch this? I do have to unlatch that. Okay, so these are like mode buttons almost. So like copy is a latch, because if I, in this case, I copied one clip to bank 3, but let's say I wanted to copy both of these clips to bank 3, which will put 3 total over there. I would say copy this current one. Looks like I need to select first. That's a vMix thing, not the controller. But it's possible to like completely deselect everything in the list at the same time. So to fix that, hit up or down to select one. So let's say I want to copy both of these. Looks like I can latch on copy mode. The current one now, I'll go to 4. I'll copy both these to 4. So I copy the current to 4. I can go down and copy the other one to 4 and turn off copy mode. And when I go to 4, I have both the clips I copied. Or likewise, if I want to take both of these, again, up or down to select things. There we have a selection again. I want to take both of these and move them to 5. I'm going to move both of these to 5. So I'm going to hit move, turn on move mode, hit shift so that I can select 5 through 8. Now I'll move the current to 5 and go down to select the other one and move that one to 5 as well. And turn off move mode. I'm going to keep shift on so I can select 5. And now I have both the clips I moved. Like these buttons, pretty straightforward, simple, like how they work. And if you need to like, because, you know, generally speaking, like, I don't know about other operators, but the way I tend to operate is like, I'm just going to delete all this stuff real quick before I go through this. Okay, so that is all the clips I've made. Generally speaking, the way I tend to operate on a show will be like, this is where you configure your names of your categories and bins. Typically, I'm going to have something like, personally, I'll make my first folder actually like a throwaway bin, like just where things go if I don't have an explicit need for them, which will make sense in a minute. My second one will be like my current stuff, and then maybe after that it's like current match, and then after that it'll be like I don't know, day highlight, and then after that maybe like match 1, match 2, match 3. So the idea here is that like you will have this organization laid out so that like I'll be working in my current bin. I'm gonna go to live. So hit now and hit play. Be like, whatever's happening right now, like, okay, there's a tag. Cool, like nice counter. Nailed them on cam 2 there. And like jump back to now, hit play. It's like whatever I'm working on. Oh, interesting. Right. I forgot to untoggle shift. So what I was doing just now was not marking ins and outs. I was trying to update ins and outs that didn't exist. That's on me. So it seems like there's some stateful things to watch out for. And that's why buttons are highlighted so that you can know that. So I need to turn the shift key off so that when I get back here, I'll keep testing things. I'll hit speed so I can fast jog back to that spot where the guy dies on the left side of the screen. There it is. Disengage speed for fast jog. Boom, he gets hit there. So I'm gonna hit in, which is real in now, not update in. Boom, there's a tag, out. And I keep going forward, go back onto the fast jog mode. Someone else got nailed on the left side here. It must have been earlier. That guy, okay, so this guy here on the left, this guy throws one from left to right, and then just gets bam, walloped. Actually, that should just be the play right there. It was the same play I was kind of clipping before, but I'm going to delete this one I just made because I'm going to take the one that I made and extend it out on the front. Can you change the shift lock to hold? I don't know. That is a great question. But yeah, it looks like shift currently is a toggle, like a latch, not a hold. You know, it's also possible maybe that like I've been doing a tap press, maybe that maybe you can do a longer press that'll do a hold. Good question. Let's see. So I'm not on shift mode right now, and let's see if I can like hold shift for a longer period and then let go, and it'll act as a hold button. I'm holding, I'm holding, I'm holding, and I let go. Nope, looks like it's a latch regardless. Can you change it? I'm not sure. That, as far as I'm aware, is actually on the controller side completely in terms of its own logic as a MIDI controller, because shift on MIDI controller in that case is like in its own firmware that is changing what notes other particular buttons will send. And then those notes are being used in their mapping for, you know, different shortcuts. So I don't think I have a way to configure what the controller is doing internally when it comes to that sort of a behavior. I can only change what is being interpreted by the notes it's sending to translate those into shortcuts and other actions. But I can't tell it what to do with its shift key, because that is its own business about changing what notes it's sending. A little long-winded, sorry. I don't know if I lost the plot there a bit, but no, I don't think I can change this to a hold shift. So like right now, for example, if I click off and then hit up to select the endpoint of this clip. Currently I had it here, but I want to back it up and mark the new in. Like, I'm gonna turn shift off. I'm gonna back it up further. You can see in -2 and -3. I want to back it up to here, which is like 5 seconds before. Yeah, I think it's just a latch. So I need to be aware that like now I'm in shift mode. Now the in is actually update in. I am curious, like typically you would reflect this behavior on the button label, which they do on the clip management ones. You can see like this is 1, but there's a 5 up here, which means when you shift and hit that, it's 5, 6, 7, 8. But on the in and the out, like on EVS and other, on EVS, on 3Play, on Dreamcatcher, like shift behaviors are pretty much always defined and written on the button. So like this button would say like in, and then up above it, it would say like update in, or like some. Actually, does EVS? Okay, I gotta fact check myself here. One moment. We're gonna take a new tab. We're gonna go EVS controller because we need to know. Show. Yeah. Look. Oh. Interesting. Right. Okay. This is different in EVS. In EVS, like in and out are contextual. If you're on your record trains and you hit in and out, those are marking an in and marking an out. But if you have a clip loaded, okay, because the way they work is different. But long story short, like shift in and shift out on EVS are actually go to the endpoint and go to the out point. And just hitting in and out will update the in or out of whatever you currently have selected. So like in vMix's case, completely different replay tool software. Like in is something you can use to mark an in, and either, how do I put this? So like in the default case, you're on records. If you hit in, I am in the shift mode. I've done this twice now, so untoggle shift. If you are in the in mode, if you're in the, if you're on records, you hit in, it marks an in. If you have not marked an out yet, it will update the in. So I have my current in. I'm going to go back another couple seconds. I hit in again. It's going to update the in to here. And then I can mark an out, like, I don't know, after they throw at this guy here. Now, on EVS, there's like a concept of like having your record in your output versus having a clip in your output versus having, actually, those are the two things. Let's just say those are the two things. You have either like your live recording in your output, A or B, or you have a clip loaded in your A or B. In vMix, it's pretty much synonymous because like on EVS, a clip is something that is separately created in memory. Like when you hit an in and an out, and then you have to like assign where the clip goes, that creates like actual different stored data that you're calling up to load the clip into your A or B output. In vMix, everything is just stored in recordable files. So like I am marking an in and an out, and that is just a reference to a point on the recording. And so that difference means that like when I am navigating to like, let's select the other clip, that did not load like new files in to my output that is using the same files throughout. It's just a different in and an out point being referenced on the same file. And so the effect of that is that like in their brain, like you're always on the recordings. So now that I've actually created a clip with the in and the out, hitting in again is not going to update the endpoint of the thing I'm on unless I send a separate command. So like if I have this clip right now and I'm like, I want to go back 2 seconds and make this the new endpoint of the clip, like you're gonna have to shift in to send a different shortcut, because otherwise if I hit in again, we're marking a new in of a new clip. Just something to be aware of. And again, that's a vMix product decision, not the controller. My only like critique of the controller in this instance is just that you should probably mark the shift function of these two buttons, because yes, awesome that it's there as an EVS op, like you're gonna know to check that, but if you don't, like you're not gonna know that you can shift to update in and update out. But again, I'm glad it's there, so well done on that part. Because like if I take this clip now and I finish it with an out point, and I want to make this 2 seconds longer on the front, shift in, and I guess I don't even have to shift again. I can go past the out point to add another 3 seconds on the back of it. Or I'll go all the way to like, boom, he throws the ball. Now I already have shift unlocked, shift out. We've updated the out point. So yeah, I'd say initial thoughts, like these are the things that are more important to me about the controller itself. Like I said, if I don't like how it maps, that is a problem I can solve. But if I didn't like how the jog wheel felt, if I felt it was too loose, if I couldn't trust that like when I move it to somewhere and have it set, it's not going to jiggle and like pause my playback after I've rolled the replay, I can't solve that. If the T-bar is inconsistent and like it's hard to get it to 0 or hard to get it to 100, or like it feels really weird and finicky in the middle part, or like it has a problem of I can't trust it to stay in place, so that when I map it to play, like I can't trust it to stay still so it won't like jiggle and send a you know, like a play when I don't want it to play it. Those aren't the kinds of problems I can solve. Those are the things that are like, you are relying on the quality of the controller in terms of its build and its components. And on that front, this thing is solid. I have not had any accidents when it comes to like the most important components, which are your T-bar and your jog wheel. I did have one double punch earlier, but I honestly would believe that I double punched that, like, because I was trying to figure it out when I like accidentally hit a shift in and an in. But I'm gonna assume that one was on me, because otherwise these buttons again feel more like traditional hardware switcher buttons, not like Stream Deck buttons. Like you're able to punch it. It doesn't respond to it like a little tip tap. You are either hitting it or you're not hitting it. And that is what I want in my controller. I don't want any like uncertain actuations, right? Like this little here, this is more of what I'm talking about. This little like micro pressing I'm doing right here, I don't want that to take effect, because I might be doing that on my way to hit this one, right? I want that press. I don't want this little like jiggling I'm doing, possibly partial depression I'm doing when I'm moving my hands around to be taking actions, and it doesn't. Especially with these buttons. Like if I'm going to go like to up and down over the top of the jog wheel, like I don't want to be accidentally creating clips, and I don't. So that initial thought, hardware wise, I am really digging this. I think they did a great job with the T-bar and the jog wheel, especially, and those are the parts you gotta get right on a replay controller. Beyond that, I'd say my only like controller hardware open questions and like critiques are definitely about like shift being a latch, I should say, because that's atypical. Typically, whether it's, you know, EVS or want to say 3-play, but I'd have to check myself on that. Like when you shift blank on EVS, like that is a one-time use. Like it's shift and then you press something and we're no longer shifting. And that is so that you can like have an expected rhythm of like, I'm going to, like the most common case I'd say is like you load up a clip. So you go like, I don't know, here's this clip and you were playing it, you want to like go to the endpoint. So you like shift, go to in, and then you're not shifted anymore. So you can back up a second and update the endpoint. Or no, the more common case I would say is like you get delivered something or you have something clipped off, you load up the clip, you go to the out point by like going shift out to the out point, you check the out point, and then you update the out point to maybe there's a frame of black at the end, maybe there's something that got funky, maybe you want it to be longer, maybe you want it to be shorter. So you're gonna like shift, consume the shift by going to shift out. Again, this isn't applicable to vMix. This is a different system with different shortcuts. But you would go like shift, consume the out, going to shift out to get to the out point, and then you would move, and that shift is consumed, it's gone, it's not on shift anymore because you want to use the actual in and out functions from that point and all the other functions. Hey Alex, how am I going? I'm going. You know, I haven't done this sort of thing in a minute, so I decided to do this in like a live format because I guess in one way, like I needed to get started on this, and but the struggle with that usually is like organizing or keeping thoughts organized can be a little harder that way. But I'm having fun with it. Like I said, the quality of this thing on hardware side is awesome. Like, no, I'm not obligated to say nice things about it, but like I don't have any nitpicks of this jog wheel or this T-bar. Like, especially compared to all the other vMix replay controllers I've tried, the T-bar and the jog wheel and the basic functions of like clipping and playing are where they should be in the brain, in the heart of like EVS and other replay operators. Like, you want to be able to control the essentials with your two hands and a couple buttons between them. Everything else after that's kind of gravy. And they got that right here. And they got the quality of these components right, as far as I'm concerned. I guess I should actually like write out some of my focused feedback about this stuff. So let's say we'll go with like loves, things I think are missing, things I think should be different, because those are separate categories, right? I'm also going to take this out for a second. So things I love, we already touched on this. Build quality. So like T-bar and jog wheel are sturdy, and I'm not worried about them jiggling loosely, but they're also a good weight, like not too heavy to move quickly. Is it full metal? You got me doubting myself, but this does not feel like metal. Like, it feels like the weight of metal, but the surface panel, I think, is it is tapping on the surface like plastic, but it is solid. Like, it is not light. But now you got me questioning, like, what is under the hood? I'm not going to take this apart. That's not my shtick. I'm not an electrical engineer or like embedded components guy. That's not my thing. Let's see. Yeah, things I liked. The Also, the buttons are a good feel and must be like intentionally pressed, I would say. Like I was saying, like you can't just like, oop, that's the wrong. You can't like half press this. You have to like, you see it, like you can't do a little like accidental jiggle press. Like you have to press that shit, depress it to actually fire it, which is good. That's what I want from buttons, especially ones that can be like really potentially destructive or interrupt what I'm doing in a bad way. No, I don't. Props to Jerry Rig everything. All those people who can create in that way. But I'm an operator and a technician, not so much of a engineer in that regard. So I love the jog wheel and the T-bar build quality, as well as the buttons. Layout, I would say. T-bar and jog wheel are in the right spots, which is T-bar on the left, jog wheel on the right. I guess I could just snap this to the side, you know what I mean? And then I can put that controller back in. Yeah, this layout is what I'm expecting and what I love about replay controllers. Like I can do 90% of what I need to for instant replays, and especially in the sports context, without leaving things. Alex, I will get to your question. I just need to finish listing out these thoughts first. Also, I don't know if anyone's ever seen the SanKeys replay controller, but one sec. Yeah, this dude, I don't understand. I just don't get it. Like, why is it up there? Why is it up there? Why is the... I'm not trying to talk trash about people's stuff just to kick people down, but like, I just want to know. I just want to know, why is the jog wheel on the left? Why is the T-bar in the upper right corner? Like the pieces are there. Like maybe they had an idea of ergonomics in mind, but like I just don't. It's tough. Like it's tough when people are, even for a left-hand system though. Like this is what I mean. Like you, like if I want to be able to like theoretically, assuming I had the right cameras loaded in for a primary and a secondary, like I can do literally everything with where my hands are right now. I can play and control speed. I can control both of my outputs. I can jog forward and backwards. I can mark it in and out. Like those are pretty much everything I need to do instant replays. Oh, and I can go to live. Whereas if you compare that to the controller in the picture on the left, like taking control of your channels is going to take your hand all the way up here and then back down to here to, in that case, jog. And then to play, you have some of the control here, but also need to go put your hand up there to speed ramp. I don't know. Maybe they had an idea in mind, but in short, like I am very happy to see this layout. I'm very happy that it is the like compact, like here's pretty much all the crap you need right here in your two hands, ready to work quickly. So very happy about the layout and the build quality. And when it comes to how the controller is made, I'll say this many times. I'll probably be really repetitive and redundant about it. This is what I can't fix on my own. Like this being in the right places and being of good quality and not having accidental presses and not accidental jiggles and feeling good and weighty and like I could pilot this without looking down on it and feeling confident that like my hand moving on the T-bar and the jog wheel is going to be comfortable and do what I want it to. Like those, I can't change that. Like that needs to be right on the controller side, and it is here. So that's like the most important thing to me about this, because everything else that follows that I'm about to talk about is essentially stuff that like I can fix myself, that I can hop in between, you know, like controller just to kind of diagram this really crappily. There's like the controller is sending MIDI notes. There's like this translation layer, and then doing stuff in vMix. So like this, I cannot fix, right? Like if there's something I don't like about that, that's out of my control. This, generally speaking, I can hop into. So like in this case, like the default stuff included that we've been looking through here is what was included on their own website in download. Yeah, so like they gave you a shortcut template and an activators template and a guide on how to do that. So that is directly, in this case, that translation layer is vMix having a shortcut mapping with this MIDI controller connected, and it is reading the notes directly in vMix from the controller. According to its template, wherever the art you played, blah, 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 blah. Why can I not read right now? It's in here though. Just trust me, it exists. I promise. The R420 template I imported is here. So that translation layer right now that I'm talking about is vMix itself, but we have other things we can use to read those MIDI notes that the controller's sending, and instead of letting vMix listen to those directly and map those to shortcuts in vMix, we can listen to the MIDI notes and send our own shortcuts to vMix. Which there's a couple options for. One would be central control, which in some cases will directly support the mapping of the controller in question, and in some cases, like you'll have to use a generic module of MIDI controllers and like listen for the notes and map them yourself. And then have those notes, and when we hear them in that our own translation layer, we'll send corresponding shortcut functions to vMix to do stuff, which is my plan more or less for like the things I'm about to talk about. So like things I think are missing in like this default layout. Oh, also I should say like things about the control mapping that I love. I do like the feedbacks, like the activators make sense. They are like camera tallies, right? We have tallies for these that are separated for the A and the B channel, or like what control mode we're in between, like AB linked versus A versus B. So having tallies, feedbacks for all those, activators for all those, very good. I do like that there is an update in, update out, which is the shift in out button sequence that we talked about a couple times. I also really love that the -5, -10, and -20 buttons are from live. So when I press these over here, this will always clip last 5 seconds of real time, not from where I am. It doesn't worry about the state of the live button in vMix, which is good. Not sure if anyone here is already familiar with my companion config, but I try to make it ignore the state of this button as much as possible, because you want your button to do what you expect it to, regardless of the state of the controller, the replay controller, oh my God, of the vMix replay software. You don't want this button flag because it gets set by random stuff. Like when you start recording, it'll turn on live, for example. You want your buttons to do the same thing when you press them. And so I appreciate that the controller here, when you press -5, even if you have live mode off, even if you are, I don't know, 20 minutes in the past, when I press -5, you can see the time code in the bottom left here of like 15:04 something, whereas the timeline playhead is like 14:19. We're like 40 minutes in the past. And if I hit -5 now, it's the last 5 seconds that just happened, not the thing that happened 40 minutes ago that I'm checking out, because generally speaking, like, I'm going to want to clip what just happened, not what I don't need a button to clip the last 5 seconds of what I'm already looking at in the past. I can mark it in and out there. And again, like, this is playing to the strength of vMix, that like you can work a lot faster on clipping things in vMix than you can in EVS. Because in EVS, you're not allowed to have a button to be like, yeah, you're looking around in the past and something cool just happened. You don't get a button to just clip the last 5 seconds that happened in EVS. You have to like dump out of whatever you're doing, go to live, back it up 5 seconds, hit in, go forward to what was the present moment, hit out, and then bank it. Like in vMix, you can be working really efficiently because you can be in the past here and taking these clips really quickly of what happened in the present. Like you don't have to do nearly as many button presses. So I'm glad that plays into it really well here on the controller. So I like the -5, -10, -20. I also like that the fast jog, which is the speed button here, I like that you don't have to shift to access that. And that it's, you know, co-located like right here with the jog wheel. I think that ergonomic makes a lot of sense. So I like that a lot. Did I already talk about? Not quite. Also appreciate the strip of like essential instant replay buttons between the T-bar and jog wheel, which I talked about already. Like pretty much everything I need for instant replay purposes is right here, like with my hands for the jog wheel and T-bar. So nailed that in my opinion. Things I think are missing. So these are things where like I think they should be added, like they are not present on the controller. One of those is clip speed assignment. So like ability to say 50% for this clip, this clip on package playout to set. Because I think these are like kind of easier wins. And what I'm talking about is like when you play out the playlist, you can set a speed, which I use all the time, you know, in my Stream Deck buttons, for example. You can take this and be like, I want this clip, this to play out at 100, and then I want this one to play at, you know, 56 in this case. It's kind of hard to mouse this if you couldn't tell already. And then I want the next one to play at 100, and then I want the one after that to play at 30-something%, and the one after that to play at 100. And then when you like queue it up and play it out, it respects that. So like the ability to set those is pretty important for any kind of like basic packages you're going to put together, because no one wants to be managing the playback speed with a T-bar live for the most part. Some people do, but generally speaking, for the sake of like a consistent runtime on your package, that you know like this package will take 32 seconds, which is inclusive of all the information about playback speeds for each part. You don't want to be T-barring, because then it's like a mystery to your AD and your director. You want to be able to say like, I have this package, it's 30 seconds long plus 2, and the slow-mos are built in. And if they're like, hey, I need you to take 5 seconds off that, like you can figure that out a lot more easily because you actually know how long it's going to run. Anyways, so like the ability to set speeds on these clips would be really helpful, and like they have direct shortcuts. So like I think this controller might have been developed before they added those shortcuts. So I'm like not sure it's really fair to like ding the controller for this not being there, or like say like it should be there, you know, based on the time it was made. But using it today, that's like a thing that comes to mind of like, I think it would be good to have, like if you made a V2 of this, like some simple buttons for like assign 50% to that clip speed, assign 33% to that clip speed. What else? Or even like kind of like pie in the sky version of that. It would be awesome to be able to do it like EVS controller, where like you select something, you can be like, this is what I thought this is where my brain was going. I didn't realize this was fast jog. I originally thought like I could press this and then use like T-bar to set the speed being assigned to the clip I have selected. Like that would be sick. That would be like really, really class. I would love that. A button where you use T-bar to assign clip speed. I guess that would be like a latch button where you use T-bar to assign clip speed. All right, taking a quick little break. What were some questions we had so far? Can you change the input from an existing clip? That's actually another thing that I would add to my list here, which is the ability to set the camera angle for the selected clip. Because currently, it looks like no, but you know, when I said earlier that I hit the shift button and the tallies disappeared on the AB rows, this is where I'm going to test that real quick. So the use case is you made a clip and you're like, okay, it's currently on camera 2, but I want this clip to actually use camera 1. So can I do that? That should be a thing you should be able to do from your controller, because it's a thing you can do in the UI, and it would make sense if perhaps I hit shift here. Does this change the camera angle if I hit 1 now? We have 2 is currently selected on this clip. What happens if I hit shift 1? Okay, that's interesting. Not sure if you saw that, but the last clip I made, the final clip, like the last in the list that I created, had 1 toggle. So I think the idea here, I think what they were going for is the shortcut is named, we're going to our favorite website, everyone, the vmix shortcut template, vmix shortcut reference, help 29. Going to the shortcut function reference. Welcome everyone to my favorite website. We're gonna full screen this. I'm gonna go to replay. here we are in the replay section. Okay, so I think what happened here. Yeah, indeed, Alex. Good news and bad news. But I'm trying to be nice here in recognizing intent, and I don't want to. I'm not trying to bag on vMix too hard here, because again, if it's not clear, I love this software and I love doing replays in it because it has a ton of advantages over EVS, Dreamcatcher, 3Play when it comes to these like 4 to 8 camera shows. One moment. I think what they were going for was, these shortcuts. So like they're not really described well. It says toggle last event camera. I think when you read that, you probably think that would be the last replay event that someone created, but in truth, what this does is what you just saw, which is if I made, let's say I just selected the third camera for that last one in the list, and now I have shift. I'm thinking when I hit shift 1 here, it's going to assign it to the currently selected clip to toggle on camera 1, but instead shift 1 will do the last one on the list. And it looks like these are all toggles, so I could toggle 1 on and off for the last 2 on and off, and 3 on and off. Yeah, so Alex, you nailed that on the head. Basically, they mapped those to they mapped those to last instead of current. Now SAP, let's try out your theory. Let's try the B line. Yeah, if I hit B. Oh, SAP with the intuition ahead of time there. It looks like SAP has identified how we can do what I want to do before I even thought to go check the other row. Yeah, it looks like B will do the current. Shift B cameras will assign a toggle for the current. That is an interesting division. But good call. Great call. I would say my personal preference on this, even as is typically to make this a singular selection, like do only this camera, because now, for example, if you play this in a package, it's going to do both angles. But, you know, that's maybe a personal preference thing. The fact that you can do it, great. So cool. All right. I don't have to add that to my list of things I think are missing. It's just things I think maybe I would want to be a little different, which is a separate category. Okay, so I'm going to write that down before I forget then. Cam angle assignment. I'm going to say personal preference on that. Would... Personal preference would like cam angle assignment to be a singular selection, which is a thing we can do for ourselves. In what case could this behavior be useful? The A line. I don't know. It's not a workflow I tend to use. And again, yeah, I don't know, actually. My brain thought, okay, maybe like if you're working in the past and something just happened and you want it to happen on... actually, now I'm afraid of what happens if I do shift -5. But let's say we're in the past and I want to clip the last 5 seconds off of, let's say, camera 3. And camera 2 is what's in my A output right now. So if I hit -5, it's going to clip that from camera 2, but I want it to be off of camera 1. But the thing about that is, like, when you clip last X seconds, it basically does the same thing in either case now, because it creates the clip and selects it. So A line doesn't really have use there because it's equivalent to using the B line. It's the last in the list and it is the current one. And the other caveat that, like, I'm not, again, this is a vMix thing, not the controller, but like, last in the context of that shortcut command, which I kind of talked about when I was like, ooh, what is that A line button doing when you shift it? Last is not the last created by, like, real time. Like, for example, like right now I'm creating the most recent clip I've created, which is like right here, right? But that's not going to be affected by last, because last is literally referring to the bottom of the list. Even though this is the most recent thing I just created, that's not last. So I don't know. I don't know what the A line is effectively useful for. I think in intention, it was probably meant to be like, if there were a difference between, like, whatever you currently have selected and whatever you most recently created, that could be like the clip above it or like somewhere else in the middle of the pack, like maybe that would have been useful, but that's just not like how the software works. So I don't know. I'd be curious to know if the manufacturer had an intention for that. But oh yeah, I was gonna say, personally, I think it would be nice if the cam angle selection were, where is that set of, am I a silly goose? I know there's a shortcut to explicitly be like, just do this camera, don't do the other cameras. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to actually crack open my my config to remember this one. Okay, so here we go. That's what it was. Replay, it's called replay selected event single camera on. How could I ever forget that one? This is saying, oops, sorry, you can't see that. Replay selected event. So the selected replay event, single camera on, and then you give it a value of like which one you want it to be. So then when you press that, which I'm gonna do right now, actually, I'm gonna go to buttons. I'm gonna go to the buttons. I'm gonna go with the emulator, I guess. I gotta actually open that up real quick. Where do I grab that? Where are you? Dear chat, how do you access your button emulator again? I have forgotten. Where the heck is that thing? And I think I'm a companion expert. Ha ha ha. Very funny. Buttons? Nope, that's... oh, I'm in the settings. That's why. There we are. Surface. Yeah. It's in surfaces? Okay. Do I click on it to... do I... how do... See? Not where you all thought either, unless I'm missing something on this page. Like, how do I actually open... there is a You know what I mean? There's the web page for it. Okay, interactive buttons. They made a different section for it, yeah. Emulator, okie dokie. Here we go. Now we're in business. Now we're cooking. Okay, so what I was gonna do, opening that up again real quick. I was just going to here we go. Oh, damn it. Okay, here we go. I was going to take this, and you can see now it's going to take the currently selected event, and then if I can, like, I can hit 1 and it just selects camera 1, or I can hit 3 and it just selects camera 3. Like, these are the shortcuts I prefer to use. So that's a thing where, like, a personal preference of what I would like it to do. Another thing, I would like Shift to be a single use latch, I guess, like, i.e. once you press something that's shifted, shift is turned off. And that's for a few reasons. Like, the biggest one be my muscle memory, but like, it helps you avoid like weird states. Like, you saw me already like forget a few times that it was on because I like shift did something and then forgot about it, and then like tried to hit an in, and then said it was trying to update in instead of marking in. Just a muscle memory thing for me that would be helpful. So I guess you could also call this one personal preference. I don't think this is explicitly wrong. This is more like my personal preference for how this would work. Oh, things that I think are missing. I think something that's missing is the T-bar sending a play command. So I've talked about this a few times, but like pretty much every replay system, the expected behavior is that like when you move the T-bar, things play. And instead in vMix, like you move the T-bar, nothing happens because the play speed that you see going up and down in that upper left pane, the play speed is decoupled from whether things are actually playing or paused. It's paused right now. So me changing the speed does nothing. I have to also play in order to have it move forward at the speed that I have defined. Personally, I think this is a thing that controllers should just fix for the user. That or not the controller should fix, but like any template of reading the MIDI notes should, whenever you're changing the T-bar note, you should also send a play. Like this, moving it should cause playing to happen at the speed set. So that's just a thing that I think is missing from the template. I'm gonna say that's a template note. That's not about the controller itself, but like about the template that they made. I think that should be sending a play command when you change the T-bar note. I'm gonna pause that now. Because if you're like, well, you don't want to hit the pause button a bunch, and it's like, you don't have to. That's what the jog wheel's for. So generally speaking, like the way you operate is like you'll use the T-bar to roll, and when you need to pause, you just take the jog wheel and you just move it at all, and it pauses, which it does on this controller already. The jog wheel is not only moving frames, but that is also pausing playback, which is good. That's what I'm expecting anyways. What else we got? Oh, right. I think shift behaviors should be marked on the buttons to, don't know why I put parentheses there. Shift behavior should be marked in the buttons to avoid confusion. E.g. in, out, shift behavior, and the A versus B cam selections on shift. This is cool because on the Scarhage I have to press the new camera and then remove the old one, and it's annoying. See, like, that's a thing you can solve though, right? If you just use shortcuts that are, because the Scarhage is sending shortcuts, so you can change the shortcut being used to the one that I noted. Now, granted, I don't know how to configure a Scarhage worth for my life. Like, gun to my head, I'm probably not making it if you need me to if you need me to change the behavior of a button on there. I've tried. Something about blue pill reactor just does not make sense with my brain. Or whatever they use now. Okay, other things I think should be different. We talked about shift behaviors. We talked about the cam assignments. We did not talk about things I think are missing. I think this is missing a take or swap button. So a button to switch the content from A into B, vice versa, which is in the UI, I should note, and is also a thing that you'll commonly use, especially when you're doing instant replays. You want to be able to be like, I want my primary angle in A, and I want my secondary in B. And sometimes you're like, well, actually, this is a better first look, and this is a better second look, so you want to swap them. And typically that button would go right about here. This is where take is in EVS, would be the bottom button on this strip. But there just isn't one on the controller, which, might be the only thing I've really actually found any fault with in terms of the button layout. Like, that's a pretty, to me, like, essential button for operation in the instant replay case, which is what I think this is made to excel for, especially with the layout I was talking about of everything being close to home for the T-bar jog and like essential functions. Take or something doing the switching between A and B should be on this strip somewhere. So if I'm going to go edit the translation layer myself, like, that's something I'm going to change. Is I'm going to make one of these buttons the take button, essentially. What else? Oh, I also, things I think should change. This is the this is a template note again. I'm going to move these to the bottom because they're like, I don't think they're nearly as important as the other ones I listed. Another template note would be sending a play with the live button. So it plays like an E to E button. Things I think we're missing: a delete or cancel button. Yeah, I mean, I think I would add that to the. This is a thing that I do. Sending a cancel marks command with the live button. So that's what I personally do on my companion config. Is, where the heck did I put that? One moment. I'll just full screen this again. So my E to E button. Ooh, yeah, actually, I'm just gonna add all of these to my list of feedback. Gosh darn it, let me hide that real quick. I do pretty much everything that an EVS E to E button does on mine, which is like I set the playback speed back to 100%. I clear all the marks too. So I just make sure that like if there is any incomplete like in mark, I get rid of it and I put the playback speed at 100 and I play. Like hitting E to E should put you basically back following along with the live moment and ready to make a new clip. Like that's sort of the point to me. So that's what I do with my button. And I think it would be great if like this button didn't just jump the playhead to live like you're about to see when I hit this on again. Oop, not that. When you hit live here, or now, sorry, when you hit now, it's just going to jump the playhead, but it's not going to play, right? So I would like it to jump to now, set the playback speed back to 100% down here, and clear any ins I might have. I think I'll just make that one big note. So sending a live with the play command and canceling mark in and setting playback speed to 100. Canceling mark in and saying when live but or not, sorry, when now button is pressed, canceling incomplete mark in mark and setting playback speed to 100 and playing forward. Those are all the things I would personally do with that. Which again, anything that's a template note here is something that I should be able to solve for myself. These couple of things, like I sort of can, like I could repurpose, let's say I could repurpose buttons perhaps in like the top right here. I could repurpose some of these if I wanted to have clip speed buttons. I could repurpose this button down here if I wanted to have a take button in a place I'm familiar with. And then I could just use board tape, you know, like take a piece of board tape, write on it, slap it on there so I know what these buttons do. So pretty much everything I've felt is missing so far is a thing that I should technically be able to solve for myself. Which is why I'm really glad that like the things in the love category up here, like these are things that I would not be able to, actually this thing I would be able to solve, but like having shift behaviors, like really neatly built in and like having a quality jog wheel and T-bar and having those be sturdy and having them laid out in a nice way where I have buttons that are like really ergonomically well located right around the jog wheel and T-bar. Those are things I would not be able to solve myself. So love that those are the way they are in the controller. And then like everything else so far are things that I should be able to solve myself. Again, by like jumping in the middle of this workflow right about here and intercepting the MIDI notes and doing what I want to with them. Granted, sort of the inconvenience of doing things with that is that activators then become your responsibility. So like button feedbacks become a you thing, right? Like the manufacturer made their own nice package of it, so that like, you know, A and B are tallied and like the button state for like what control I have over like AB linked or A or B is tallied. If I go the route I'm talking about where I'm now going to turn off the vMix shortcuts and stop listening to the MIDI input in vMix directly and stop sending activators out of vmix directly, like to have vmix stop directly communicating with the controller. If I go that route, which I intend to, like, I'm not going to have the activators anymore. Actually, you know, I'm thinking about that. I don't know if how badly those things conflict if I try to do them. Yeah, that's sort of where I'm at. It's like, I do have some things that I wish worked a little bit differently, but overall, like, seems pretty damn sweet. like I was saying when I was just like building examples earlier, like it's pretty easy to use this. Like if I just play around with this now for a second, like I already know, like, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I was gonna walk through like a workflow real quick. So if I'm following along live, typically I have a bin here that's just like what I'm currently doing. A throwaway bin, and then like something I could put like current match highlights in, or like my day highlights. And then when I'm done with my current thing, like highlights for this match, I'll just like log them and archive them. And so it's nice that I should be able to do that. Like on here, it looks like if I have stuff that like I do like or I don't like, or clips, like here's a throw attempt. Wow, kind of missed there, bud. Maybe on cam 3 I have something of a... Yeah, he just misses the screenshot. Okay, so let's say I'm like clipping stuff for this match. Here's one. We have another play call going on here. This guy's gonna get blasted, it looks like. So like this will be the end of this game's highlights or something. So let's say I was like operating and this was my current game, and then like I had highlights for this game and I aired them out, and now I'm done with them. So like I'm gonna move stuff, right? Let's say I had like a third clip that I just didn't give a crap about, some other third clip. So what I could do, if I get used to the ergonomics on this real quick, is like I could go to move mode here on the controller. I can hit move, and then I'm gonna say like these first two perhaps like are things that are like, yeah, these will go in the current match highlights. These were good plays. I have move on. I'm gonna move the current one to 3 for the current. I'm gonna go here, move that one as well. And then maybe this last clip is junk and I don't really need it, but maybe it'd be useful for something later. I don't know. That's what my bin's for. So I'll move that to 1. And now my current workspace is clear, right? I have stuff that's, oh, I didn't have to click on there either. I could just turn move mode off. I can access bin 1. So this is like my throwaway space. And this is the stuff where like on 3, the current match, where like I'm keeping stuff that might become like the match highlights for this current thing we're on. But then 2 is like my workspace and it's clear. And you saw me be like, oh, I got to reach for my mouse, but like you don't have to. I think they thought that out pretty well on here too, like having some basic clip management. That I was able to like use a workflow like mine and like move stuff where I think it needs to go without having to leave the controller. I think that's also good. I'm going to put that in the love category, I think. Controls mapping. That I love that there is a section for clip management. Sap asks, how would you set up a replay system with more than 8 inputs? Well, in vMix you can't. The reason we're on 8 here is because that's like the maximum. That's the maximum for vMix's management, right? Like you can't add more than 8 cameras in vMix Replay. If you need to use more than 8 cameras, that's kind of a larger design question for your show. Like if you need more than 8, you can get a system that supports more than 8. Is the if money is no object answer. Like get an EVS box, get a XT3 or XTV. I guess if you're bankrolled, right? Like get an EVS if you need 10, right? If you need 10 that one person can access all of them on. If you have more than 8 and it's like okay to maybe contextually bounce between different contexts, like maybe you have, I don't know, a show where you're covering like multiple courts at the same time at a sports tournament or something, like, and there's 10 total cameras, like it seems reasonable to me, like if you have 5 and 5 split across 2 people, you just have to understand that like those 2 boxes can't share stuff between them directly and nicely. So like it'd be pretty hard to like build a day highlight of everything across all the courts if you are working across more than one instance of vMix Replay. But if you just need like instant replays, be like, and now let's check in on the action on court 2, and then like you have a highlight package that someone's building on court 2 with their own 5 cameras, you know. Yeah, I know. I know money is an object for all of us. Mostly just making a joke there, but if you need 10 cameras or if you need more than 8 cameras, like you're kind of in a tough spot. Like I think basically there's 2 answers there, which I was trying to get at, which like one, if you need instant replays with more than 8 cameras, like you can do that. Like you just kind of bounce back and forth between the operators, right? Like let's say you're doing an esports tournament, which it sounds like you are here, and you have 10 players and you have like a camera for each player. So you have 10 cameras of like player faces for their reactions while they're playing. If you just want to be able to like replay their facial reactions, like getting excited or like bummed about the outcome of a round, like to do right after the gameplay replays, let's say it's Counter-Strike or Valorant, right? Like something that's round based, like you can do that with vMix. If 2 boxes, each one has 5 cameras, you can be like, okay, here's the gameplay clip, and now here's a replay of that person being really excited, and here's someone on the other team being really sad. You would just like have the one team have their 5 cameras into one replay box, and that replay operator rolls a couple quick clips of like people being happy, and then the other replay operator has the team that lost that round, their 5 cameras in the replay box, and he rolls a couple clips of people being sad. But and that works for like smoothly enough for instant replay, but you're just gonna run into challenges when it comes to like package building, basically, because like those 2 people can't share their clips with each other. That's the tough part. Got a little long-winded, but hopefully that answers your question about trying to do more than 8. You kind of can't on one system. So then it becomes a question of like, what are you trying to accomplish? And like, also be nice to your replay ops. Like if you have 2 replay operators working on the same content with different cameras, like just understand that building packages between them is going to be really messy and difficult. But instant replays that you need in the moment, like of stuff, should be okay if you want to go that route. Okay, what else did I want to talk about today? Let's see. Talked about clip management. We talked about build quality. We talked about instant replay stuff. We did talk about clip management, and we talked a little bit about things I'd like to be able to do, which were like, you know, clip speed assignment and camera assignment, which we figured out is possible, maybe a little bit unexpected, but we did figure that out in here. Oh yes, this is another template note. The play all and play last buttons should use, I'm just gonna have to be explicit about this. It's the replay play selected event. Or they should use the non the non to output shortcut functions. These cause a lot of the to output replay shortcuts cause a lot of headache, honestly. That's just a note for the template. But again, things I can fix for myself. And can't believe I'm doing this like it's like a Soundscape 2000 freaking template or tutorial. I'm gonna put this in 72-point font. BRB bathroom. All right, be right back. Okie dokie. Now, let us begin the great journey. We are going to try to map this ourselves. And there are a couple ways we could try to do that. The first is central control, which I'm not going to ding them for, but I'm not sure they have actually added support for this device yet. 1 second. I'm going to go. What was I? Yes. Just going to go open up my license somewhere else. Let's see. Yeah, where would that be? Okay. Download central control. Do you think some people are brave enough to do gameplay replays on 2 vmix for the 2 teams? That'd be really a nightmare, in my opinion. The problem right now is there's really not enough like tooling that you can even build yourself, because like vmix API doesn't tell you information about the clips you have. So even if you wanted to be like read from these 2 vmix machines and like read the current page of clips on each of them and figure out like the time code order to jump between the 2 and play them in the right order, which would be a fair amount of work, but like it's not even possible because you can't read that data, is what I'm trying to say. And then trying to do it manually sounds like a nightmare to bounce back and forth between them. Like 2 humans controlling it, or even 1 human controlling both. I think that'd be really, really difficult to do. Okay, well, everyone already knows this, so might as well just write it down. Yeah, like even then, Sap, like the problem is that like you don't have a way to like reliably call the correct clips in the correct order. Like I don't think you can even access the clip number of what you just created when you make a clip. They really do not make it easy on people to I'm gonna open this up, Central Control Studio, and we're just gonna like see if I can get this going. We're just gonna not show that one on the stream. 1 sec. Oopsies. This is just now a central control stream. Sorry, SanKeys. No, but oh, okay. Well, Hey, good evening to you. Thanks for stopping by. So, if this were supported directly in central control, you would find it in this section, I assume. I'll probably just go to all here and then like type to filter to like SanKey. Maybe San. Ah, okay. So it looks like they support the R290, which probably looks a bit different, if I had to guess. I was like, this is overwhelmingly not what I was looking for, but that's kind of awesome. So it looks like a similar controller, but not exactly the same. I kind of like that. It looks like a compact version of this one, meant for like a 4 camera. No, can't quite make out what the buttons are, but I'm gonna guess this does not translate correctly between the two. That's fine. In that case, let's just go MIDI controllers, find a generic one in here. There's got to be like a generic MIDI. I mean, I know there is. Yeah, there it is. Generic MIDI controller. Or generic vMix MIDI controller. Okay, well, we'll figure this out. So. It says interface for many vMix MIDI controllers. Okay. We'll try that one out. We'll just leave it named as is because it's not going to be. Oh, yes. We need to go into vMix and we need to go to shortcuts, MIDI settings. We need to stop listening to this and we need to go to activators and we need to unenable that. Okay. I'm also going to stop recording because I don't think we need any more of the recording done on here. So, let's check it out. Just realized you're not working on VCT Americas today. No, I am. I'm on LCS at the moment, so you will not see me on VCT Americas this split, and I have not been on it this split. So, if there's any replays you like, those are compliments for my teammates. Okay, so central control, basically you come here to the devices. I added a device, I added a generic vMix MIDI because there wasn't this specific device supported natively. So you click on that module, that connection you added for the MIDI in shows up here. For the MIDI out, I believe that's for like returning feedbacks and activators and whatnot. Could be wrong, but oh gosh, damn it. Did you choose what you're gonna work on? No, I'm not even full-time there. I'm a flex worker in that space, so I'm just there to, you know, support where fit in, and happy to do so. Right now, that is doing the LCS. But I'm pretty happy with all my coworkers there. I think they're doing a good job. The idea is to get everyone to be as strong as possible, kind of around the table, like all the positions. And that's not possible if I'm always doing the chair, right? So you gotta get people their reps, and I'm glad they're doing that. Oh my gosh, I did not mean to do that. Goodness. One moment. Ooh, that's better. Okay. Now, let's hop into maybe channel 0 or let's just say 0. Now you hop into controls. And this is where it's going to be really helpful to, oops, did not mean to do that. So what we want to do here, I'm going to move these windows a little bit so you can see them. And then I'm also underneath this going to open up the replay controller so I know where that is. I shouldn't need this window anymore for now, but I do need this one, obviously. So what it's good to use here is the jump to control option. So we turn this on. When we press a button on the controller, it'll show us which MIDI note is actually being intercepted. So start simple. Let's do cam assignments because those are pretty straightforward. Oh, sorry. I forgot a step here. We need to also connect to vMix. So we have the controller connection. We also need a vMix connection. That way we can add things between the two. So Studio Code's vMix. It's my vMix instance. 192.168.1.1. That's just our local self. Let's go a step further and go 127.0.0.1 port 8099. And a couple things here. One, we need to turn that connection on, right? We are connected. I don't know why that's blinking, but that's I'm just gonna have to ignore that. Let me quadruple check. I go 127.0.0.1.80.88. That's my vMix local XML. So yeah, localhost should be working. I just like to do that as a sanity check. 127.0.0.1 port 8099 should be the TCP API for this. I'm just going to ignore that blinking and minimize that window so I don't pay attention to it. Okay, so we turn on the controller. We turn on the connection for vMix as well. Now we should be able to do what I'm talking about. We have jump to controller on, which means, or jump to control on. When I press a button like this one here, it should show me what MIDI note is being sent. So I hit 1. That's G#2. And so for G#2, I can still. Okay, interesting. I'm not seeing the. Okay, I'm not sure why that's blinking. But I don't think that's actually enabled the connection, which is holy cats. That is I don't know what it's trying to tell me there. Turn that off. Just try turning that off for a second. Production tools. Oh no, that's the video mixers. Okay. Let's just go all vmix. Studio Coast vmix. You know what? I'm gonna let it just use what it wants to for default. Turn it on. Sure seems like that doesn't work because that IP address is not what it thinks it is. Okay, can I just turn this on? Don't know what blinking means. I need to enable this connection in order to make this work though. So I don't know, man. Go to web controller. We have the TCP API enabled. We don't have security on. It's not even restricted to LAN only. There's no port overlap. Web controller is where it's supposed to be. That's a mystery to me then. I should be able to select actions for the vmix connection here, but I think it's not working. So obviously none of this is a knock on like do I have to disable this TCP API connection to make that one work? That'd be kind of weird, but I'll turn this one off. I'll turn this one back on. Okie doke. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna take this off screen. I'm gonna actually activate the license. Okay. Sure. No, you all do not get to see my license. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, okay. And then I'm going to save the project, throw it on the desktop. And we're going to refresh license, I guess. We're going to close this, I guess. Yeah. And we're going to relaunch it. Relaunch Studio. Okay. (127.0.0.1) port 8099. Should be able to just turn that on. I don't understand why that's blinking at me. What do you what do you want? What does blinking mean? Joe, I'm sorry, this wasn't supposed to be a central control stream, but I don't understand. I think I might just come back to the CC side of this. Yeah, I'll come back to this another time, but we will. We will try something else here that I remember exists. We're gonna try another project out, I think. We're also gonna re-enable the companion connection. We're gonna close things to the right. We're gonna try this project out because what's the worst that could happen? I'm sure it'll be fine. Yeah, Alex, I will say it is an awesome piece of software that has a lot more even than just control mapping, but you're right that right now it's not. I can't quite seem to wrangle that detail I need for the vMix connection. So I'll have to figure that out later. I'll probably just ask them if they know what I might be needing to do there. For now, we're gonna try yes. Okay. What? Looks good. Hell yeah. Understandable. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, so this software says I should be able to take a MIDI controller and map it to companion buttons. Let's try that out, I guess. Let's go to mapping. No preset loaded. Oh, use same. Okay, I would have. That's fine. Okay. I don't really get what they're going for here yet. How do you use this? Oh. Start with program, create your control surface. Generate a preset and save your changes. Okay, so I installed it. Obviously, I opened it. Auto load. I don't know how to create a preset because you didn't leave a button there for that. How am I supposed to? I can't. I don't think they understand. Try starting over here. MIDI. Open Surface Studio. Create your control surface. Oh, these are in. Okay, if I'm reading this correctly, it's saying this is how you can use this to automatically load the last preset on open, or when you start. This is saying make sure you save changes before closing the program. Nothing else in here, like, oh, I have to go to config? Is that what's going on here? Oh, okay, well, that might have been a good place to open the program too. R420 test. Create preset. Okie dokie. Now we're in business. Okay. Looks like the companion connection is working. I can see all this stuff. Great. I think that means it's connected. So now if I look in companion surfaces, yeah. So this has been added as a surface there. I think that's all working. I guess this would mean we'll just rock with it for now. But I think I have to make a larger surface if I want more than 32 buttons to use here. So let's go to mapping now. Assign your device to controls to real actions. So okay. I have to just probably intuit this. So is this like I click something and then press the button that I want to be used on, or do I like hit the button on the controller and then click what I want it to map to? Oh, okay. Got it. Okay, so in this case, if I want my cam buttons to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're just gonna test this out for now. So do this, and then I guess I'll do listen. Tap that. That not. What? Not actually. These buttons work like that? Okay, not sure this is working out right now. I think I'm gonna call that a stop point because both of my ideas for mapping this are not working out so well so far. But I will get those ducks in a row and then try again at some point.